And thank you so much for tuning in to my station, Miss Brown Eyes, today on this beautiful day today. Remember, so as a man thinketh in his heart, then so is he. We are to think upon things that bring a good report. And a lot of times now, it's not easy to consistently think upon things that bring a good report because let's face it, we're in a spiritual warfare. A lot of the things that we go through, we don't understand how to spiritually get out of them. Let's say if you have a very stressful life or a stressful day, and you don't really have a support system, you you have to have the support from within yourself. A lot of times we were taught that we have to have physical support systems and people around us, loved ones, lovers, friends, what have you, in order to kind of validate us and to make us feel some type of way, in a complete wholeness kind of way, or complete us, so to speak. But in actuality, we already are equipped with everything we could actually ever need down here in this hell hole called life on earth, because it's a spiritual thing. I mean, even in the Bible, it says those who worship the high God must worship him in spirit and in truth. So, spirit is a significant thing here because we've been taught, like a lot of people who grew up in Christianity, that you have to pay your tithes and your offerings. You have to buy a blessing, in other words, to get to this God that we don't even, as a people of color, we don't even identify with this image because we don't see ourselves in this image. Yet, faithfully, we follow this image and to our own demise. Because now, don't get me wrong, I'm not just saying that everything in the Bible is wrong. But I think we all can kind of agree that there's something really wrong with Christianity because, I mean, if you're representing Christianity in the name of this high God, then how do you love and hate and beat and kill all within the same breath behind the same power of the Almighty God? It doesn't make sense to me. And then another thing in Christianity, when people say, and I guess somewhere in the word, which I don't know offhand, with God is a jealous God, he's not going to share his glory with anyone. But if you go to any church in anywhere, in a neighborhood, country, wherever, you're going to always find some type of opposing spirit within the church. Yet you're telling me that God is not going to share his glory with anyone else, but it's dominated and it's just putrefied, if you will, with other unclean spirits. So it's something that should make you wonder. You know what I'm saying? Something should make you really be curious about the things that are going on within your thing called life. I mean, what is it about life? I mean, aren't you asking questions? I stated in a previous video that I created this channel. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I really don't care because at the end of the day, I really am creating this to minister right back to myself. I don't have a physical person that I can go run to and talk this kind of talk because most people are not spiritual. They're all materialistic and and just stuck in this matrix of life based on the outward appearance and who's and what you have, and they miss the real essence of really joining spirits together. So it is a lonely walk, but I've learned and I'm constantly learning that everything that I'll ever need is on the inside of me. But as I was saying, I created this channel rather, for spiritual growth. I feel like a person should always be asking questions about things that are going on. You cannot take everything at face value now. It's just like the Bible says that when you're a child, you do childish things. But when you grow up, you put away those childish things. So I think there should come a time in everyone's life where you see yourself, even in the disgust, in the turmoil, in the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything that has to do with this thing called life. You should still be receiving key elements of growth and maturity spiritually. Because we wasn't really taught the significance of joining your spiritual man, the man that's on the inside of you. And remember, even in the Bible, I think the God of the Bible was telling Jeremiah, one of them, I knew you. I've been knew you. I knew you before you was even formed in your mama's womb, honey. I knew everything about you. Now, we couldn't possibly, as physical men, know everything about our children as we're carrying them. We hoping for the best, but 9 times out of 10, your fears get in, your doubts, your this and your that. Is all a part of being in this prison place called life and flesh. But it's a spiritual walk. So we are to get back in tune with our ancient thinking, our ancient spirituality, and grow from the inside out, because that's what it's about. And like I said, I create this channel for self motivation, if you will, to grow, to perhaps provoke anyone to kind of chat with me, help me get to a higher understanding. And I have to say that YouTube, even though there's like a lot of people that say you have to chew the meat, honey, and spit out the bones, and that's pretty much with everything. You have to take what works for you, what you need out of it, and leave all that other mess where it is, because you don't want to keep constantly trying to learn something, but picking up burdens as you go along. I mean, that's where I was at when I first came into what they call the truth. That when I first became conscious, it was called the truth. Is she in the truth? Girl, he in the truth. It was that. But then I had to go through things. I had to fall apart. I had to get emotional. I had to just get angry. I had to just get just so vexed in my spirit to know the truth that you're gonna make some mistakes. You're gonna have errors as you find your ground, or your footing, so to speak, or your identity, or who you are, or what is your purpose. And all those things happen to deal with the individual on the inside, which is the spiritual man. So like, if you're having a bad day, or if you find yourself going through things negatively and you don't have anyone to really reach out to, then that is such an amazing time. I know it doesn't feel like it at the time, but listen, that is the most amazing time for your spirit, because it seems like when it feels like all options are deleted, there are no doors opening for you, everything is falling apart some kind of way in your life all at once, then your body can only take you so far, and your spirit begins to kind of fail. Even in the Bible, it says, what does it say? Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desired established makes the heart rejoice for joy. And I'm kind of paraphrasing that, but it's to that effect. So it's like, if you're constantly longing for something and longing for something, and it is yet to manifest, then eventually, with all the talk you're probably still gonna be doing, you'll notice your spirit is starting to kind of fall apart a little bit. Get kind of shaky. It's not standing all tall at first, but it needs to see the results. It needs to see the evidence of your words. So what I'm saying is, if you're not finding the evidence of the words, or in Christianity, then it's time to, look somewhere else. And only place you really have to look is on the inside. I know that you can tell things that are not as they should be, or not as they are portrayed to be. I mean, you have children coming out the womb that are extremely intelligent and game tight and aware of everything now. So it's something really going on in the earth that we need to join ourselves with, because we are part of the earth at the end of the day. It's something we have to get back to the pure essence, and we have to get back to the bare minimum, if you will, the bare minimals, the earthly, the elements, the low maintenance things, which were grand on its own. Everything that we use to stay alive today is all tainted, genetically modified. It's not the purest form. It's some bullshit shit that they sell to the masters of the people. But back in the ancient days, when everything was pure and they lived off the land and the herbs, and they were healing each other, they were mentally, spiritually connected with one another in such a way that they can heal you, and they could like the word says, speak things that are not as though they were. They were actually speaking and thinking things instantly into existence. Can you imagine that? I mean, maybe that's a little too high for some people. Maybe that's not where you're trying to go, but shouldn't you at least be questioning things? Shouldn't you be researching some things? Don't you want to know what's going to happen after you take your last breath? If living in this this world has been harder than a motherfucker. I dare to think that we cross over and then keep on coming back to the same old BS after BS after mother freaking fracking BS. Surely there's got to be some reasoning to this thing. So once again, I am on a higher journey to be more conscious spiritually, to grow in my learning, to educate my spiritual man so that I can retrieve it and use it for me, be a service to other people, because there's so many hurting people out here and they don't know how to release it. So what they do is they just push it off on the next person. You know what I'm saying? We just live in a world full of hurting, grieving people. And until they just get tired and get tired, then we're just going to continue being a cycle over and over, while some will constantly advance, while some will extremely devance, if you will. So, but I just thought I'd make this first little video, if you will, showing my little self. This is me. I love people. I love to interact. So I just wanted you to put a face with the voice. And I would love for you to like and subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment. Let's chop it up. Show me what you know. Talk to me about what you have learned, and I will share with you what I have learned. Let's constantly grow together and be the best that we already are. You hear me? Thank you so much for tuning in to Miss Brown Eyes, and I will talk to you another time. Bye.